Well, this is not exactly how we wanted to be talking to you tonight here, folks. We're having a little fire in downtown Topeka right now. 913, formerly the Merchant, is on fire right next to us here at the break room. We've got fire crews on scene. Here's the scene, what it looks like right now.
Awesome. I recommend it to everyone.
Wonderfully warm, loving tribute to how family can learn to live with each other, perform together, even when people are very different in how they go about things. I just think it's fantastic.
The magic was so much better than I thought. I mean, it would be good. I don't know, that good. You know, it's such a hidden gem here. I love it. You know, it's
We're gonna come back and bring friends.
It was fabulous. We enjoyed it. Hilarious. It was great to get to know the Schultz a little bit better. The dinner was awesome. Oh god, the food was amazing. Michelle, we love you. Kim, we love you also.
I know how talented Frank and multi-talented he is, but who knew? Now it's all about Chris. I am now a big Chris Schultz Gaga fan. Gaga with Chris Schultz.
I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was wonderful for people to make us a part of their family, and I got to sit right behind Mama Schultz.
I've been a downtown merchant for 17 years, and I never knew that that something so wonderful existed downtown.
Fabulous.
It was fabulous.
Absolutely. She was
We
in.
recommend it to everyone.
We had a blast.
Went out the back door and noticed that next door the building there were flames shooting out of the back window. Our communication lines were damaged. They ran right across the top of the window where this was. So all our phone lines and everything were taken out. So we didn't even know that our alarm went off, that it would have even been able to contact 911. So had we not been home, the whole block could have gone up. Right in this entry well right here, that's the only way to get through. It was incredibly scary because you just don't think that in the middle of the night you could have an alarm go off and immediately everything that you've worked for is, it's up for grabs. Hello friends, I'm Chris Schultz with Talk About Topeka and GabLocal.tv, coming to you from my family-owned restaurants, Field of Greens, with an exciting announcement. In 2002, armed only with a dream and a lot of supportive friends, I had a feeling that if we built it, they would come, and Field of Greens was born. For those of you who are familiar with Topeka history, our historic downtown was not necessarily celebrated the way it should have always been. Well, it's 2017, and we're still alive and kicking because of our loyal customers who continue to believe in us. But just because our story can be reduced to a positive feel-good line from a popular movie doesn't mean that it was easy. Back then, and even still today, some people have no issue calling us fools for believing in our community. We might be fools, but it's certainly not for believing in and supporting the people who have supported us. A lot of people have been asking me how we've been doing since the fire, so here's a quick update before we get to the exciting announcement. If you went back 3 years and asked me if we would survive the construction in downtown without any parking, I would have confidently told you that most of our customers are loyal office workers in the adjoining buildings. Since they wouldn't be getting 2 years off and they still had to eat, I was fairly confident that they would be there to help us through the storm. And they would have been, but while the streets were torn up, 2 of our neighboring office buildings were emptied for renovations. The Department of Agriculture was moved to Manhattan. This caused nearly a 50% reduction to our loyal customer base and eliminated much of the already limited parking on the side streets for building construction dumpsters and crews. I thought that we were done for until an event across the street gave me tremendous hope. It was the groundbreaking for the Cyrus Hotel. This was the first of many game-changing events that reassured me that our decision to open downtown in 2002 was indeed a step in the right side of history. And then there was the fire. On one of the coldest nights of the year, a person of unfortunate circumstances was attempting to stay warm when they accidentally ignited the back of our neighboring building. we were awoken at 2 a.m. by our fire alarm to a building that was full of smoke. I was terrified, but I didn't have time to realize it. I had put all my eggs in one basket, and the basket was going up in smoke, literally. Roughly a week before the fire, I was making financial plans to stabilize the losses of the previous 3 years, realizing how a 5-year mortgage would allow us to be exactly where we were 3 years earlier. I know what you're thinking. Why don't you just close down for construction? Well, because we knew it was temporary, and that our dedicated employees, who had no long-term investment in the situation, still needed to pay their rent and put food on their tables. So here's the current update. Field of Greens was the first to see restored business. Our loyal customers have been truly understanding at this difficult time, and I can't thank them enough for their support. After spending nearly a month living in a hotel, I was able to move back into my home at the historic Tinkenville building. The break room is a more complex issue. Our stage had to be demolished in order to properly clean the odor out of the building. Our stage was a substantial part of our business there. We're working on plans to rebuild bigger and better, but because of our situation, our dreams have had hard limits, and that makes rebuilding more complicated. Complicated things take time. So in the meantime, Field of Greens is open for business, and our fantastic neighbors from the Cyrus Hotel are dropping by to give us a renewed faith yet again, and they aren't even open for business yet. But when they do open the doors, I assure you it will be another glorious achievement for our great city.
The developers of the Cyrus Hotel announced that they will be buying lunch for the first 200 people to arrive at Field of Greens restaurant in downtown. They say it's their way of supporting the restaurant and its owner, Chris Schultz, after a fire damaged the business at the end of last year.
He is Mr. Downtown Topeka. I mean, he does more for downtown and to promote downtown, I think, than anybody I know downtown. And we really want to just bring people out to show, you know, what kind of product that he has, and really give him a boost as he relaunches his business, because I know it's been tough on him over the last few weeks.
The announcement was made this morning live on the Field of Greens Facebook page.
So be sure to go to the Cyrus's Facebook page and like them on there, follow their progress. Go to Field of Greens and the Break Rooms pages if you want to follow those as well. We'd love to have you follow those so we can keep you updated on all the things going on in downtown. And there are other folks who have decided that they wanted to help us out because since our stage was taken out at the Break Room, there were a lot of people who used that stage for wonderful causes. So they want to help us put things together too. So on top of this wonderful thing that our friends from the Cyrus are doing, one of our close friends, Jessica Hope, is organizing a Cards Against Humanity fundraiser, and that is going to be on February 3rd at Julie's Coffee and Bistro. And then our friends over at Quentin's on the 4th of February are going to be hosting a comedy show, and all the proceeds from that are going to come to our stage fund to help us build a cooler stage. If you want to drop a little something our way to put in the stage fund, anything you drop our way, we will use to make the break room a cooler place. We'll just call it the Make the Break Room Cooler Fund.